there's this beautiful story, of a man, a Brahmin. This Brahmin, his name was Vidyapati. And this Brahmin loved to, he had a wonderful garden. And he treated his garden with so much love, but at the same time with so much selfishness. He never liked anybody to go into his garden. So even when the birds were around, what happened? He will push them away. He will shoo them away. So one day, there was an old cow eating some of the flowers in his garden. So he got so crazy. He got so mad, he started beating that poor old cow. And the cow just fell down and died. He was frail, skinny, and just died. And he was shocked. So when he realized what he had done, and people were around, they saw that, they were all shocked. They brought him in front of the elders. And when they brought him in front of the elders, then they said, okay, tomorrow we will decide what is your punishment for killing a cow. Because, in Hinduism, killing a cow, go aparad, it is one of the most, terrible sin that one can do. So imagine now, how many people are killing so many cows in this world, how many sin they are making. So in Hinduism, it's like this, Gau Aparad, it's like this. When you kill a cow, you have to atone for your mistake. So he went to the elders' meeting, and when he was sitting there, he was thinking, oh, it's not me who have killed this cow. It is my hen. So my hen, the presiding deity of the hen is Indra. So then he said, it is not me. It is Indra's fault, because he is the presiding deity of the hen. So he started putting the blame on Indra. And of course, people start talking and said, oh my goodness, he don't assume his role. So people thought, you see, there were no internet at the time. There were no, mail or messages or this stuff, But gossip went more faster. So it reached the ears of Indra. So Indra said, okay, how can he blame me like that? I will go and see him. So he disguised himself as a young Brahmin, and he appeared in this world, and he was walking into the garden of this the wicked Brahmin. And he started walking, and the man saw him and started becoming very angry with him. He said, why are you walking in my garden? Go away from my garden. Then Indra started flattering him. Flattery. So Indra said, Brahman, the old Brahman, the selfish Brahman said, why are you walking in my garden? So Indra then replied to him, it's such a beautiful garden you have. But hearing that, he started to think, that's a good thing. So who is this gardener who have made such a beautiful garden, who have planted these beautiful flowers? Hearing that, he said, oh, I did it. It is me. I planted it with my own hands, these flowers. So you planted this with your own hand. So then Indra said, there was a fountain there. He said, how wonderful is this fountain? Who built this wonderful fountain? He said, I built it with my own hand, this fountain. So hearing that, then the Brahmin said, so you built this with your own hand, and you planted all these flowers with your own hand. Your hand. They said, yes. Then the Brahmin assumed his form and said, then if you have planted these flowers with your own hand, and you have built this fountain with your own hand, why do you blame Indra when you have killed this cow with your own hand? So then Indra disappeared. So realizing his mistake inside of his mind, that he felt really bad about it. So in this story, you see, when things happen in one life, the joyful things happen in one life, that Brahmin like to take the credits, in life. When good things happen, people forget about even God, even devotees forget that everything comes from him. Very often they say, yes, I'm doing it. I, mine, and me. This is what very often people think. In good time, people forget that everything comes from the supreme reality itself. But in bad time, everybody even blame God for that, So no one want to assume the responsibility of it, just like this Brahmin who didn't want to assume his responsibility of taking that blame, but assuming the responsibility that he had killed that cow itself, So he put the blame on somebody else. So like that also, you see, in life, often it happens, when things happen, no one want to take the blame on themselves because everybody think they are perfect. It's easy to put the blame on somebody else, and to criticize that person. It's the fault of that person. It is not my fault. No, a hand don't make sound by itself. It takes two to make sound by itself. So as equally, it is your fault also for whatever you are going around gossiping and going around criticizing and pointing finger towards. So you see, when praises happen, one become joyful and happy. King Prithu, Prithu Maharaj, in Bhagavad, actually, Canto 4, verse 15, 24, it said, but you see, how can you think that you have such merits in your life? What do you think that you have done so great to have such merit in your life to accept praises? Because people like praises in their life, So when you don't realize that you don't have enough merits, you have not done anything in your life to accept praises, then why you like when people praise you? Because this is a deficiency of the mind itself. But very often, when good things happen in one life, one are rejoicing about, but not knowing that behind everything, we go through, the Lord is the director of everything. So when we see, Prithu Maharaj, saying, how can one accept that? Knowing that one doesn't have that merit to be praised like this. But in other hand, you see, being humble, one don't accept praises. Like you see, when you praise a saint, the saint will listen, but he will not give much attention to it. So in life, it's like this also. When you go through life, karma will bring many things upon your path. But be humble. Like you see, you're following Sriman Narayana, following Krishna. They're the model of humility itself. When we look, when the I say, the sages, when the 4 Kumaras cursed Jaya and Vijaya, how Bhagwan, treated the sages, because Bhagwan identified themselves with his doorkeeper. He said, if the doorkeeper have offend the Kumaras, meaning that they are my servant, so it is me, myself, who have done that. So he went, in Bhagavad chapter, Canto 3, verse 16, Canto 3, 1, Canto 3, 16, 6, he said, that if I could cut my hand and offer it to you, and if that please you, I shall do it. So you see, Srimad Narayana himself, what kind of humility he have, but he himself said that, if that will please you, I shall do it. Because he identified himself with his devotee. So again, when he sees that Atma which is inside of the devotee is ready, from wherever they are, that transformation, that change, he will make it happen. He will make a certain excuses to remind one that you belong to me, and I belong to you. So this is the greatness of the Lord himself.